Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. You've been worried about too many people, too many voices, too much noise around you. Everybody got something to say about your life, about your choices, about what you should do and how you should do it. And if you ain't careful, you'll start living their plan instead of yours. But I came here to tell you, you better learn to focus on yourself. And sometimes the smartest move you can ever make is to just stay silent. See, I know how it feels to want to explain yourself all the time. You feel like you owe people a reason why you're doing what you're doing. You want to clap back at every little thing they say about you. But let me give you the truth: silence is power. The most dangerous person in the room is not the one doing all the talking. It's the one sitting quiet, focused, planning, moving in silence. Because when you're silent, you ain't wasting energy arguing. You're putting all that energy into building. Now listen, I grew up in a world where people had opinions about me all the time. They said, "Steve, you talk too country, you too broke. You ain't smart enough. You ain't funny enough." And for a while, I thought maybe they right. But here's the thing. None of them had to live my life. None of them had to carry my dream. None of them had to wake up broke and still believe I was born for more. That was on me. And I realized if I sit around trying to convince everybody that I can do this, I'll waste the time I need to actually do it. You see, folks, you got to stop arguing with people who already made up their mind about you. They don't believe in you. Fine. They think you can't do it. Fine. They laughing at your dreams. Fine. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. You don't have to give them a speech. You don't have to defend yourself. Just get to work. Let your success be the loudest answer. Now, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you planting a seed. You put it in the soil, cover it up, water it. But guess what? For a while, ain't nobody see nothing. They walk past that patch of dirt and say, "Ain't nothing happening here. Waste of time. Nothing's growing." But underground, oh, that seed is fighting, breaking out of its shell, pushing through dirt, getting roots deep. And when the time comes, it breaks through the surface. Suddenly everybody see it. That's how your life works. That's how dreams work. Growth is silent before it's loud. But here's the problem. Too many of y'all want to prove to people what you planting before it grows. You want them to clap before the tree even come out the ground. It don't work that way. You got to sit in the dark, do your work in silence, trust that the roots are forming. Because when the season comes, ain't nobody going to be able to deny what grew out of you. Now let me be real with you. Silence ain't weakness. Silence is strategy. Don't confuse the two. Some of y'all think if you don't defend yourself, you soft. If you don't argue back, you weak. Nah. Real strength is when you can smile at somebody who doubted you and keep moving because you know where you headed. Real strength is when you don't waste breath trying to explain to folks who ain't even on your level. You can't teach somebody who ain't willing to learn. You can't open the eyes of somebody who don't want to see. So why talk? Why waste time? Stay silent and focused. And let me tell you this, everybody don't deserve access to your vision. You keep telling people your dreams, your plans, your moves, and they're killing it before it even breathes. You ever told somebody an idea and they shot it down so fast you started doubting yourself? That's because you gave the wrong person access. Learn this right now. Protect your vision. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just shut your mouth and work. When it's ready, the world will see it. You see, I learned something from life. People respect results, not announcements. You can talk all day about what you're going to do. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to get this money. I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to buy this house. But until you actually do it, it's just noise. And when you loud with no results, people stop listening. But when you silent and you show up with results, oh, they listen then. Now I know some of y'all in this room feel like you're behind. You see people on social media showing their cars, their trips, their new house, their lifestyle. And you thinking, man, I'm falling off. I ain't where they at. But let me tell you something. Most of that is noise too. Don't compare your behind. The scenes to somebody else's highlight reel. You don't know the debt they in, the lies they telling, the stress they hiding. You don't know what they sacrificed. You focus on your lane. Because when you focus, when you silent, when you putting in work behind the curtain, your reveal will be real. Now, let me drop something funny on you. Y'all ever seen somebody argue on Facebook? Typing long essays, fighting in the comments, going back and forth with people they don't even know. You reading it like, man, this fool just wasted 2 hours explaining themselves to a stranger. That's how some of y'all living your real life. You spending time defending yourself to folks who don't matter. Folks who ain't even going where you're going. Folks who ain't even qualified to judge you. Ain't that crazy? That's like letting somebody who never been on a plane tell you how to fly one. Don't do it. Don't argue with small minds. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't need everybody's approval to move forward. You don't need everybody clapping for you. Sometimes the best motivation you can have is knowing they don't believe in you and proving I'm wrong, not with words, but with results. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is preparation. Silence is meditation. Silence is God whispering, I got you, just keep working. So I'm going to challenge you tonight. Cut the noise. Stop explaining. Stop defending. Stop telling everybody your every move. Just focus. Move in silence. And when the time comes, when God lifts you up, the same people who doubted you gone, be the ones saying, man, I always knew you could do it. Let him lie. Let him switch sides. You don't owe nobody an explanation. Your success is the explanation. Let me take you somewhere real quick. Imagine you on a racetrack. You lined up, heart beating, ready to run your race. Gun goes off, pow, and you take off. But instead of keeping your eyes on your lane, you looking left, looking right, checking who running beside you. You know what happens? You trip, you slow down, you stumble. Why? Because you're too busy focusing on other people's race instead of your own. That's what a lot of y'all doing in life right now. You distracted. See, you can't win your race looking at somebody else's lane. You can't build your dream while you're measuring it against theirs. Your blessing got your name on it. Your purpose is yours alone. God ain't going to give you somebody else's path. And the only way to reach yours is to stay focused, silent, locked in. You don't need to broadcast every step. You just need to move. Now, let me be honest, the silence ain't always easy. We human. We emotional. Somebody call you out, you want to clap back. Somebody disrespect you, you want to set the record straight. But here's the thing, not every fight deserves your energy. You ever notice how dogs bark at every car that pass? But lions don't chase cars. Lions conserve energy. They silent, they watching, they waiting. Then when it's time to eat, they pounce. That's how you gotta live. You don't gotta respond to every bark. Save your roar for when it matters. Let me give y'all a personal example. When I first started doing comedy, I was broke. I ain't have nothing. I was telling jokes in little clubs, people doubting me left and right. Folks said, "Man, Steve, you wasting your time. Get a real job." And truth be told, I wanted to argue back. I wanted to tell them, you don't see what I see. You don't understand what God put in me. But instead, I stayed quiet. I kept grinding. I kept showing up. And when they turned on the TV years later and saw me hosting shows, making money, traveling the world, guess what? I ain't have to say nothing. My life said it for me. That's why I tell you, stay silent, keep working. Let your results do the talking. People don't forget success. They don't forget what they doubted. And when they see it, it shuts every mouth without you lifting a finger. But here's another truth: silence ain't just about shutting up. It's about listening. Some of y'all missing the voice of God because you too busy talking. You praying, but you don't pause to hear him answer. You asking for guidance, but you filling your ears with everybody else's opinion. Sometimes is the reason you stuck is because you ain't been still long enough to listen. Silence creates space. And in that space, wisdom shows up. Ideas come, peace comes, clarity comes. Now, let me be funny for a second. Some of y'all talk so much you answer your own question. You ever seen that? Somebody say, "I just don't know why my life ain't working." I mean, I'm always giving my time to everybody. I'm always telling people my next move. I'm always explaining myself. And I'm sitting there thinking, you just answered it, fool. That's the problem. Sometimes the problem is you. Sometimes you're doing too much explaining and not enough executing. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is noisy. You got TV, social media, news, gossip, opinions, arguments. Everywhere you turn, somebody yelling at you, telling you what to think, how to live, what to buy, who to be. And if you don't get control of your focus, you go and drown in that noise. You got to choose silence. You got to create it. Turn off the phone. Step away from the crowd. Sit in your own thoughts. Ask yourself what you really want. That's how you build self-focus. You see, success ain't just about money, fame, or attention. Success is about mastering yourself. And you can't master yourself if you always distracted by everybody else. Focus is the currency of achievement. And silence is how you protect that focus. Now, let me tell you something hard. Not everybody around you want to see you win. Some of the people closest to you, friends, family, co-workers, they the loudest doubters. Not because they're evil, but because your growth reminds them of their comfort zone. Your silence makes them nervous. They see you pulling back, working on yourself, staying quiet, and they don't like it because it exposes what they ain't doing. So they poke at you, try to pull you back, try to drag you into noise. Don't fall for it. Let me give you a picture. Imagine you climbing a ladder. You 3 steps up, somebody on the ground yelling, "Hey, that ladder gonna break. You gonna fall. Get down here with us." Now, you can waste time climbing down to argue with them, or you can keep climbing and prove they wrong by reaching the top. Which one sounds smarter? Exactly. Stay on that ladder. Stay focused. Stay silent. And let me remind you of something. Every season of your life don't require an announcement. Some of y'all telling folks every time you make a move, "I'm about to start this business. I'm thinking about changing jobs. I might go back to school." You broadcasting the whole plan. And what happens? People throw negativity, doubts, fear, jealousy on it. Then you wonder why it ain't working. It ain't working because you let too many people touch it. Protect your vision. Keep it quiet until it's solid. Don't invite noise into your blueprint. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying you got to isolate forever. I ain't saying don't ever talk. But you got to be wise with who gets access. Share your vision with people who feed it, not people who starve it. And sometimes the only way to figure out who's who is to stay silent for a while. Watch who checks on you. Watch who supports you without needing to know every detail. Silence reveals truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, the most powerful people I've ever met, they don't brag. They don't announce. They don't argue. They just move. And when you ask them how they did it, they smile and say, I stayed focused. You want to know why? Because when you silent and focused, your work speaks so loud that you ain't gotta. So I'm going to leave you with this. In part 20A, start practicing silence like it's a skill. Next time somebody doubts you, don't argue, just smile. Next time you're about to announce your move, pause and ask, do I really need to say this, or can I just show it later? Next time you tempted to defend yourself, remember your success is your defense. The less you say, the more powerful you become. Let me be real with you tonight. Life gone test you. Life gone put you in some situations where you feel like talking back, where you feel like defending yourself, where you feel like you gotta prove something to people. And if you don't learn the discipline of silence and focus, you're gonna waste your best energy fighting the wrong battles. See, I done had seasons in my life where people counted me out. I ain't just talking about strangers. I'm talking about folks close to me. People who should have been cheering me on, they the ones telling me, Steve, you ain't gonna make it. You wasting your time? And for a while, it hurt. I thought maybe I needed to argue back. Maybe I needed to convince them. But then I realized convincing them don't change nothing. The only way I could prove him wrong was by making it. Now, I remember one night, back when I was broke, sleeping in my car. I was hungry, tired, doubting myself. I had $20-something to my name. And I'm sitting there asking God, why you put this dream in me if it ain't gonna work out? And you know what I felt in that silence? I felt him saying, because if I gave it to you easy, you'd give the credit to people. But if you fight through this, if you stay focused, if you trust me in silence when it happens, everybody go, it was me who brought you through. That hit me. And I learned to stop explaining myself and start trusting the process. Sometimes silence ain't just about people. It's about trusting God. You trying to tell everybody your plan, but God saying, shut up and walk. You trying to make everybody clap for you, but God saying, I ain't building this for them. I'm building this for you. You don't owe them the story. You don't owe them the details. You owe God your focus. Now let me lighten it up for a second. You ever notice broke people always got the loudest advice? Ain't it funny? Somebody who ain't never started a business wanna tell you how to run yours. Somebody who ain't never been married wanna tell you how to fix yours. Somebody who ain't got no car wanna tell you which one you should buy. Loud and wrong. See, wisdom ain't always loud. Real wisdom is quiet. Real growth is quiet. Real money, quiet. It don't need to scream. And you got to learn to filter that noise out. Ladies and gentlemen, don't waste your time explaining yourself to folks who ain't even qualified to understand your vision. If they can't see it, that don't mean it ain't real. It just means it ain't theirs. You don't need the blind to validate your sight. Some people can't see where you're going because God didn't give them the map. He gave it to you. And let me tell you, the devil loves noise. He loves distraction. He loves when you're busy fighting battles that don't matter because it keeps you from fighting the ones that do. Every time you arguing with somebody online, every time you wasting energy trying to prove yourself to somebody who don't matter, that's time you could have spent building, time you could have spent healing, time you could have spent growing. Now I know somebody listening right now thinking, but Steve, if I don't defend myself, they gon' think I'm weak. Let me clear that up for you. Real strength ain't loud. Real strength ain't about shouting back. Real strength is walking away and still being unshaken. Real strength is smiling when they doubt you because deep down you know you're going to win anyway. You know who weak? The one who got to scream to be noticed. You know who's strong? The one who's silent but unstoppable. Think about it. Look at the ocean. You hear the waves crashing, right? But you know what's stronger than the waves? The current. The current is silent. You don't see it, you don't hear it, but it'll pull a ship across the sea. That's how your life should be. Don't be waves making noise just to be seen. Be the current, silent, powerful, undeniable. Now let me talk about focus, because silence and focus go hand in hand. If you silent but unfocused, you just quiet and lost. Focus is what makes silence powerful. You got to know what you're aiming at. You got to know your why. What do you want? What are you chasing? Where are you going? When you lock in on that, silence becomes your secret weapon. Let me tell you about when I got the chance to host family food. Man, people laughed at me. They said, Steve Harvey, he just a comedian, he don't fit for that show. And I wanted to clap back. I wanted to tell them, you don't know my versatility. You don't know what I bring to the table. But instead, I stayed silent. I focused on proving myself through my work. And look what happened. Not only did the show blow up, but it became one of the most successful things I ever touched. Silence and focus turned a doubt into a legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, the same thing can happen in your life. Don't defend it. Don't explain it. Don't announce it. Just build it. Just live it. And when the results come, the same people who doubted you gonna be quoting you. But here's the key. You gotta learn patience. Silence without patience becomes frustration. You sitting quiet, but you boiling inside. That ain't real silence. Real silence is peace. It's trusting that your time is coming. And that's hard because we want it now. We want people to see it now. Believe it now, clap now, but growth don't happen on your schedule. It happens on God's. And if you trust Him enough to be silent in the waiting, you're going to see blessings bigger than you imagined. So let me say this to somebody in here: stop explaining yourself. Stop rushing. Stop fighting battles that don't matter. Be patient, be silent, be focused, because when your time comes, you won't have to say a word. Your life gone say it all.